All the songs are incredible, and I think certain songs mean different things at different times because he's had such a huge, long career and a diverse career. So I think it means he means a lot to me, and I think also and it's an obvious question to say, well, I really love the clothes, but it's about the music, and yes, the added bonus of the fact that he was an incredible dresser. Out of all the sort of rock idols, rock stars, he's had his own particular unique style. I don't think he's ever followed a fashion as such. He's always had his own. When you look, there's an early I think it was one of the first photo shoots he ever did, and he had a leopard print hat on, some great glasses, and a fur trim coat, and it just looks so different from everything. It wasn't glam. It was just unique, and so I think he's always had his own style. It is, as you say, an absolute dream job for a costume designer. I think it's a dream job for anybody that's working on it. And, he is one of the most iconic people in the world, not just, because he's very political and, and the music, fashion, everything about him is larger than life. So I think it was quite daunting as well, the idea of representing him through his clothing. He's known for his fabulous stage wear and the sort of the wealth of the clothes is in terms of the the longevity of everything, and there's lots of jewelry, and so it was a fabulous opportunity and a slight daunting opportunity. The first thought was to actually make sure that he was happy with everything, because it is representing his life, and the last thing I'd want to do was not represent him fully, and he came down to look at the studio and look at the sets, and I presented all the concept drawings for him, and which he loved, and which was a big relief, because I thought, if Sir Elton likes the clothes, then there's not many people that can dispute that. Dexter's an incredible director, and when he came to me with the film, he presented the idea that this is not a straightforward biopic; it's a musical fantasy, and he wanted me to push as far as I could go, and then he could pull back. But it was never about being half-hearted. It was the full gamut of all stage wear and extravagance and everything. So and we used lots of photographic reference, and so I put together a lookbook for him. The sort of excess of the periods, and he looked at that, thought it was great, and then we just went full tilt into producing, the concept drawings, all the costumes really. Looking at all those periods, from the 50s through to the 80s, was fantastic. I mean, the change in fashion for all those periods. And we start in sort of 1950s pin-up, and we wanted to get away from the usual humdrum drabness of everything. And we start with a musical number, and I wanted to use bright, colourful. I sort of looked at West Side Story and Tommy and various other different sort of musicals that had been done before, and wanted to just include that huge blast of colour to begin with. Then we went into the sort of the 60s, and I think in some ways that's when the film, even though we use colour, the colours are slightly dulled down. And then we head into the sort of late 60s, which is sort of flower power and hippies and Paisley and sort of that whole opening up of the world, and it's much more sort of ethnic orientated. And then obviously we get into the 70s, where there's a more powerful colours, and obviously through into the 80s, where it becomes more sort of acid and not the colours, and sort of more primary. So yeah, there's a huge array of colours throughout the whole film. I was kindly invited to go and look at his stagewear archives, and they're incredible. I mean, I've never seen anything like it, and the work that's gone into it. It's the minute detail that's the most fascinating thing. Even though he'll be sat on a stage and a lot of the audience will be, you know, however far away. It's the minute detail, but the overall, it's detail and silhouette as well. It's quite incredible. So yeah, went to have a look at the archives and really had a look in depth. And I think what we were trying to do, rather than do this, we're not doing a straight up biopic. It's you know, it's musical fantasy. And I think what we talked about was using the basis of his clothes to create our own look for him. And I think the only one that we sort of reproduce is the Dodgers outfit. And even then we've sort of created our own, because that was all sort of little sequins sewn onto it, and we've covered it in crystal. So it's even that is a reimagining of the original. But yeah, I think we just wanted to create our own look, our own, as it's not a documentary. We wanted to create not necessarily a different Elton, but just something for the film that would fit into the film. It's a huge job. You know, you have to have quite, you know, strong shoulders to bear all of that. And I think because it's not just the sort of the drama side of it, there's singing, dancing, the emotion of it all. I mean, it's an emotional roller coaster, really. So I think I've worked with Taron before, and he's an incredible person. He's very, very hardworking, and he takes everything very, very, very seriously. So it's always a real pleasure to work with him. I really love the Yellow Brick Road outfit, which is, it's the song goes over a few outfits, but the one I'm really talking about is the one that we sort of, Dexter asked me, you know, the song is Yellow Brick Road, have a think about any references that you could use. And I obviously looked at The Wizard of Oz. So he's got blue suit with ruby red shoes on, ruby red lapels. The shirt is made of sort of silver fabric, which is like the Tin Man. He's got a straw hat on for the scarecrow and a big fake fur coat for the lion. So that is quite an interesting outfit. And at the time, he's sort of going through quite a difficult time in his life, and it's all very exaggerated, and it's quite an exaggerated outfit. I knew that the glasses are very important to Sir Elton, and so I really wanted to, I looked through, referenced all of the glasses, and some of them we sourced, but there were a few that I really wanted to remake and re-envisage and redesign, not redesign, but re-envisage. And so I wanted to find one of the best glasses maker that I could find. And I went to various shops and sort of asked them, you know, where would I go to have these made? They were all very reluctant to tell me. But I managed to track down this guy from Great Yarmouth, and he's in the later years of his life, but I think he used to make glasses for Dame Edna Everage, which is quite a good source of a starting point. So I contacted him and I said, look, you know, would you like to be involved in this project? And he jumped at the idea of it. So I would send him drawings and images, and then a few weeks later they'd come back exactly perfect. And so yeah, it was a great, a really good find, and I'm very grateful for him to doing them. I thought that the idea that when you look at him, ultimately I used a very simple silhouette of a double-breasted suit in all the different eras, and it was a double-breasted grey suit or black suit or striped suit, and I wanted him to have the continuity of his look throughout the whole film. And Richard's great to dress. He's got a great, you know, silhouette to dress, and so that was very easy. And I wanted to keep him very contained within the fact that Elton was so excessive and his clothes were so exaggerated. So, so that's really what I wanted to do, to keep his silhouette very simple. His energy is boundless, and his ideas and wanting to do the best for the film. And I think he likes to push people, and you know, I think it's not always easy to be pushed, but you know, you understand why somebody's doing it, because it's not about ego, it's about the project. You know, we've met up on various Saturdays on our days off to talk about how to push the boundaries of the film, you know, I respect him immensely as a person and as a director.